St. Stephen, New Brunswick is this week's stop on the Lumberjack circuit, featuring the Springboard Chop, the Kettleboil, and the Hot Saw. 3 of the most crowd entertaining and exciting events on the Lumberjack circuit today, right now on Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, professional quality, ask any pro. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Bodog, be a player. Red Pine Wilderness Lodge, simply unreal fishing.
We're here in the banks of the St. Croix River, an international boundary between Canada and the United States. Hi, I'm Bill Deba, the host of Lumberjacks, and with my co-host Rod Cumberland, Lumberjack sport analyst. And Rod, the St. Croix River, it's famous for a couple of different things here in New Brunswick, isn't it?
That's right, Bill. Just downriver from us, St. Croix Island, first Canadian settlement back in 1604. And the water here is quite high around us right now, but boy, 6 hours ago, 25-foot drop on the water level here. Highest tides in the world.
Now we're headed upriver down to St. Stephen, New Brunswick, host of a great Lumberjack competition. Been here for a couple of weeks. They put on a good show in St. Stephen.
They do, Bill. Beautiful weather here, big crowds, and man, the competition has been really fierce. We're expecting a great finish here today.
Now we're wrapping things up with the Springboard Chop, the open modified saw, and the Kettleboil. I like the Kettleboil. We don't see it very often.
No, actually, the Kettleboil event, very unique to the Maritime provinces. It's anybody's game because you're just boiling a kettle. Trevor Dillman, he's probably my favorite pick in this event, but boys, big moil Conrad, he may look big, but he can really boil a kettle. And the wife finds out he may be spinning the winner in the kitchen.
Quick update in the overall standings have Paul Woodland and Mario Burke looking on some hard times the last couple of weeks. Donald Lambert threatening to run away with things, 285 points as we head into Springboard Chop. In total, we had 6 heats of Springboard Chop. We're going to be showing you the top 4 heats, starting up with a couple of young guys in the circuit today. Brandon Conrad taking on Ben Cumberland. Just tell me a little bit about where Ben has been learning his skills.
I tell you, there's almost a clear cut behind my house. He's been chopping popple and birch, everything he can get his hands on. So he's a year younger than Brandon. Brandon's 17 years old, Ben's 16 years old. They're the young and up-and-coming guys, but they should do pretty well in the Springboard Chop here.
The Springboard Chop, a very challenging event. Of course, the competitors got to put their boards in after a minimum of 4 hits, sometimes many 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more hits, that's for sure. Both guys looking to get on their first boards.
Brandon's a bigger guy, so and of course his dad's coaching him on, and of course Big Moyle always wants to get his notches really deep, and you can hear him hollering to Brandon in the background, deeper, deeper. He wants to make sure that he's not going to fall out of those. His board's not going to fall out of his notch.
Well, you can see Ben there taking a double take on his notch. Is it good enough? Is it not good enough? Well, I think I'll go for 2 or 3 more. Make sure he's set up there, and he looks really comfortable on second board, 55 seconds in.
Yeah, I've been telling him to make sure his notches are good, so when he gets up there, he's got lots of confidence. You don't want a board coming out. If your board comes out early in your career, it kind of gives you the willies up there. You don't have the confidence when you're chopping the top. He's got a pumpkin block up top there. See the discoloration of that? That's a soft popple log.
It's going to fall apart nicely for him. He's looking pretty comfortable, getting some good energy behind those strokes. We head over to the backside. He's put some drivers in at 135 already. And he's going to go a little bit higher to put some drivers in. Brandon really struggling with his second notch. Ben Cumberland sets the time to beat to 141.28. Nice job by the fine young teenager.
And a great job here by Brandon Conrad. Good to see these young guns hard at it.
Ben, I noticed in your notches, firm and slow and steady, make some good notches and solid. You make sure on those notches, don't you?
Yeah. Just I was out back practicing, and what I found is that for my top board to be as good enough to stand back and chop on, I had to make my bottom one solid enough that I had confidence to put my top one in.
Second heat of Springboard Chop, we got Dupuis against Dillman. Now, Marcel is a great competitor, excellent athlete. We don't see him travel outside the Maritimes for Lumberjack sports very much on an international or even national level.
That's right. As an athlete, he's got a lot on his plate with the fireman stuff that he usually does, but he's actually been, he got into the sport with Mario Bork. He's from Memram Cook. He's a big, strong guy, and actually his ability is amazing. If he would practice a bit more, he'd be right at the top of the heap.
Both guys well into their first notches, struggling a little bit, a lot of debris in there, and ideally they want to do this in 4 hits, but both of them which are 7 or 8 heats. Marcel looks like he's happy with that notch.
That's right. When they start putting a lot of chops in the top, that causes all those little chips to get in there. You've really got to clean that out so the board, the toe of the board gets a good hold when you put your weight on the board.
Marcel looks like he's got a little bit of a better second notch. Oh, he's going to go with that one, that's for sure. It's nice and clean, deep enough. Looks like he's going to be happy with it. How's that board set look to you?
That's a 4-stroke board, and of course, that's what you want. You want 4 strokes, and of course, his board's still sitting pretty high. The only thing with 4 strokes, sometimes if you're not swinging hard enough, the board will start sagging. As you see right here, his board sagging just a bit on him.
Coming up on minute 15, Marcel's on his backside already. Trevor's really struggling with his second notch, not able to get up on his second board. Put some drivers in, Marcel is. Got a nice punky log up top there, falling apart nicely. Marcel Dupuis going to lower this time to beat down to 124.84 and takes the lead in the Springboard Chop. Now your second notch, it looked pretty good right at the beginning, but it started to sag towards the end there. What happened?
It might have been a little piece of wood left in there. Like my hit was not perfect, so it's going to sag a bit. So it wasn't the perfect notch, but it worked for this time. So
now the wood up top there was a little bit punky in the center, so it's hard. It was falling apart. Did it affect you much?
It actually helped me there, I think, quite a bit. So we'll take it this time.
Halfway through the Springboard Chop, Ben Cumberland chopping all those logs out behind my place is paying off. Good enough for 141 in second place, but Marcel Dupuis, a minute 24, is in first place in the Springboard.